Because what happens is we go along and we begin to take things for granted. We take our relationship for granted and the quality goes down. It declines. That relationship will die. That which you take for granted begins to die. We take our health for granted, our physical quality declines. We take our work for granted, the place where we receive this energy called money, the experience there begins to decline. Anytime we take life for granted, the relationship we have with that life begins to die a little bit. It is in the profound state of gratitude, knowing that this is it, where we stay alive, where we live alive. I believe that there is about maybe 99.9% of all people who've ever lived have never fully comprehended consciously the glory and the beauty of the gift called life. That very, very few people who've ever lived actually have ever fully consciously seen what a glorious, beautiful, amazing, miraculous gift that it is. And if we did see it, and when we do get glimpses of it, it changes us. We begin to move differently. Do you agree with what I'm saying, that very few people ever? Yes. But what I want to say to you today is the fact that pretty much everybody's head went, yeah, I agree with you. The beginning of truth and transformation comes when we know we don't know. The fact that we know that we don't know, we've never quite touched it, is the seed that can grow the consciousness into knowing the deepest truth. And today we can come away and allow that seed to begin to take root in us. We can begin. Just that we know that we don't know, there's a level to which we have not understood. We've got glimpses. But the glory, that can take us there. That can take us there. And what I suggest each of us do today, when you leave to start this journey, is go out and get a bar of Icy Hot. Place it precariously just to the side of your deodorant. And one day you'll get them mixed up. And it'll be just the moment when you need a little wake-up call. Because you'll know, when I did it instantly I was like, okay, God, what do I need to get fired up about? Clearly, this is a message. And I knew. And I knew. Because we know. The first thing I did on my sabbatical, the very first thing, Monday morning after Sunday, I met with Elizabeth Mason, who is the illustrator of my first children's book. And this is a mock-up of it. It's done. This is a mock-up of it right here. It's called The High-Wire Artist. And it's done. And now we're taking it to publishers to get published. And then I wrote the second story, the follow-up story to that. This is the script to it. It's done. And then I began writing the book. Then I began writing this book. Transform the world, change everything, save lives. And 3 weeks later, I wrote 75,986 words. When I make the time, God and I align together. When I make the time, God and I align. When I commit, this is it. When I commit, this is it. I had some aha moments in my sabbatical. What you are doing right now is what every soul on planet Earth is doing here. Every soul is on sabbatical, writing a chapter in the story of eternal experience. Each and every soul is here on sabbatical. And that sabbatical is the greatest gift. Are we going to waste it away with writer's block? In fear? We're going to be willing to step up in faith, get our lives in order, and create a masterpiece. Now guess what I get to do with those 624 pages? Edit! I gotta promote myself to the editor. I gotta trust and begin to edit. Nobody writes a book and it's done. You must go back with a critical eye and begin to keep the best, get rid of the rest. Say that with me. Keep the best, get rid of the rest. Why? Because your life is a story. All of our lives need some editing. And we need to trust in the editor and begin to eliminate that which is taking away from the natural progression of the story and the flow of our soul. With some faith, we can begin to edit it and move forward in that story and take it to the next step. We have to edit our story to make room for the glory together. We have to edit our story to make room for the glory, because we're here to get on with it. So I would like you to think for a minute about the new year. The new year. There's a special energy at New Year's time. Can you feel that? You know, at New Year's you begin to feel a vision, and something new is trying to happen, and everyone around the world begins to see a greater truth in it. That is a peek into a little bit of this glory and this gift and this beauty, and we get a little excited. Enthusiasm, God within. And everybody begins to see a vision. That's coming from your spirit and your soul. That's your soul recognizing the masterpiece that is wanting to come through you. That's the truth, wanting to come through you. But then time goes by, and oftentimes we find ourselves back kind of in a rut, where we used to be. What happened to that vision? What happened to that enthusiasm? Why did that slip away? Why did that disappear? That was my spirit, and I see that for myself. Well, I figured it out. On my sabbatical, I figured out why it slips away and how to make it stay. To create profound transformation. This is big. This is huge. Are you even prepared for what I'm about to lay on you? Here it is. Here it is. The new year is misplaced. It's in the wrong spot. It's supposed to be in June. It's in the wrong place in the Northern Hemisphere. In the Southern Hemisphere, it's correct. What is January in the Southern Hemisphere? It's June. June is the time when life springs forth and newness wants to come forth. The Southern Hemisphere is in concert with Mother Earth in January. This is why people in the Southern Hemisphere, 47% more people realize their New Year's resolutions in the Southern Hemisphere of this planet than in the Northern Hemisphere of this planet. Because they are aligned with the natural energy and progression of Mother Earth. I just made that statistic up. But it makes sense, doesn't it? It makes sense. You try to set... January is a setup for failure. Come on, it's dark at 4:30. It's the dead of winter. January is not the time to spring forth in the newness. It's just stabilize. Just hold steady. That's what January is for. Not to be made new. So I firmly, because I felt the energy of spring move through me. I honestly believe that's a big part of why I got so much done. I allowed it to move through me. I was in harmony with Mother Earth. Number two that I discovered during my sabbatical is that it's too long. The brain can't contain 12 months. Like, I got to think on this one idea. I can't do it. But we don't need 12 months. It's overkill. It's not necessary. All we need is a six-pack. That's it. It's like going into the store. Think about it. You come across a 12-pack. It's like, oh, God, it's so big. I can't wear it. It won't fit into the drawer. I'll have to take pieces off. No, a six-pack. I can handle that. And you know I'm talking about sugar-free Peach Hansons. You know that. Because if you get sugar-free Peach Hansons, you get a six-pack. So, it's too long, and it's in the wrong spot. We don't need no stinking 12 months. What we need are some affirmations. We don't need no stinking affirmations. Those are for a year. We need some affirmations. Because in 6 months, starting today, anything can happen. Affirmation number one. Affirmation number one. It's God's great pleasure to give me the kingdom, and today is half off. Together? It's God's great pleasure to give me the kingdom, and today is half off. Affirmation number two. I truly can believe that half of me is perfect and whole. Together? I truly can believe that half of me is perfect and whole. And the rest will follow. And the rest will follow. The brain can handle that. You tell the ego that your whole body is perfect and whole. Bullcrap. But the ego can handle half. All right, I'll give you half. I'll give you half. We don't need no stinking 12 months. A six-pack is all we need. Think of it this way. If you are one of those many people who had the goal of losing weight in the new year, that is completely and utterly ridiculous. It's freezing, raining, and cold out, and dark at 4:30. That's completely out of sync with Mother Earth, is it not? If you want to lose, and what is losing weight? It's editing. It's keeping the best and getting rid of the rest. And so are all goals. All visions require editing. Think of it this way. If you were one of the people who wanted to lose weight in January, losing weight in January is like trying to lose your mind in a psychiatric ward. It's too late. Spring is the time to be made new, to spring forth. You edit so the fruits of life can come forth and burst through you this time of year. That's why I proclaim today, from now on, Celebration Church has two years in one. Think about how much more. We'll live twice as much. We'll get twice as much done. We'll live twice as much joy. Listen to what it says in Ecclesiastes. There is an appointed time for everything, and there is a time for everything under heaven. A time to give birth, a time to die, a time to plant, a time to uproot, a time to tear down, and a time to build up, a time to mourn, and a time to dance, a time to keep, and a time to throw away, a time to shed pounds, and a time to gather pounds together. It says it right there where I wrote it. It's inferred, though, is it not? It's inferred. To everything there is a season. Now is the time to align with the mind of the divine. This is our life. It's made up of time. That's what it is. And what we do with that time is a reflection of our gratitude for this life. And as we begin to step into profound gratitude for this life, we begin to give back to God that gift. And as we do that, we experience nothing less than the kingdom of heaven. We get into the flow. When we make our life a reflection of the gratitude we feel for this life and step into the it is I, we get on a roll with the soul.